Welcome to the Pinnacle Bank Championship Podcast. I'm Chris Gorman from Herdat and the 15th Club, and I'm joined here by the one and only Jim Nedrow. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. This is great, man. It's been a while, but I'm excited. This kicks it all off, I think.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years. It flew by really quickly. And you've had quite an elevation with like your career through this like last decade.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me about where you started and like where we're at now.
Yeah. I mean, well, I've been at Indian Creek 20 years this past February, which is crazy. We were talking earlier, like, you know, when this tournament started, we were babies like you and I were, right? And it's even more so that with my role at Indian Creek, and I think I was 24, 25 when I started. Had all the answers, of course, and, didn't, but thought I did. And, at different, situations in my career, I was humbled enough to kind of go figure out what I needed to do to actually be good at what I was there to do. And, kind of worked my way up to where we sat down and had some conversations about the tournament and took on the tournament and, was director of agronomy through that whole period of time. Well, almost, the first 8 years of the tournament. And then the last two, I've been in a kind of a general manager role at the whole facility. And last year still dabbled in the agronomy a little bit to help Matt, our director of agronomy, kind of get his feet under him. And this year will probably be the first year where I'm generally hands off on that, which will be tough because it's what I know and it's what I love. Hopefully I can still kind of advocate down there, and be useful to some extent, but, it'll be an interesting year. It's been a great 20 years, and it's been fun to kind of mature and progress at the facility through that process.
Yeah. So talk to me about, there's a small subsect of people that think that you guys work 4 days a year.
Sure.
Especially like for like, like Jess be like, oh, you guys have the easiest job. Like you don't have to worry about hundreds of baseball games or like going through the entire season. Like it's just 4 days. Like, what do people not see as you're getting ready for like a tournament of this size? And also like, hey, we're on our 10th year. This is a milestone year. What does it take to get that course ready?
I mean, it's legitimately a 365-day a year process. And I was told that before we had the event, and even I was kind of like, yeah, sure it is, right? But it is. It's from the day we got the word or signed the contract that we were going to partner up with Pinnacle Bank and have the Korn Ferry Tour, at that time the web.com tour, work really began. And that first year was, we had hypothetical plans and plans that we had built based off conversations we had with other facilities. So that was kind of flying by the seat of our pants a little bit. But once we got through that first tournament, we did realize that last putt drops and preparation and planning for the following year starts right then. From an agronomic standpoint and a competitive setup standpoint, the event's always been late July, early August. You really can't change much about your facility, in a short period of time. Like it is what it is in July, right? What your course is going into July is what your course is going to be going in August. What it is in July is what it was in June. And so, all those agronomic decisions we make in, even September and October of the year prior, and then March, April, May, and June really determine how that course sets up and how it's, prepared to handle weather and prepared to handle competition and the traffic stress and all of that. So, it is 365 days a year. You get a little bit of a respite in December and January, but we're still busy. They're still planning, a lot of purchasing, a lot of equipment repair, kind of capital improvements. But yeah, it's all year for sure.
I remember in our first year, Sam Ryder ran away with our championship. I believe he was 27 under.
Yep.
We haven't seen a champion like that since. What do you do to tighten up a course or to make it more challenging? Like after, our first year, we get it under our belts and then we, go back to the drawing board. Like, what do you do to like improve that course year over year?
We've made tweaks. We've added length, between, year 1 and year 10, we've added length. I couldn't even really tell you how much length, a couple hundred yards. We could stretch it out to 7,800 plus yards. Added some bunkers, tightened some fairways up. I'm trying to think. Tournament hole 4, tournament hole 7, tournament hole 9, tournament hole 11. I believe that's it. Those areas we kind of tightened up, areas where we knew that those particular players would land off the tee. Still the fairways are, I mean, when you compare it to a US Open or a lot of PGA tournaments, still wider than normal. But when I think we brought in a lot of those fairways 10, 15, 20 yards, tighten them up. Our biggest defense has always been rough. We manage that rough throughout the year so that we do have healthy turf that we can start to grow out. But we've been pretty blessed with the ability to firm greens up for the most part. We've had a couple years, we've had a lot of rain, and that's made things difficult. But I think generally, Midwest golf in July and August, you tend to have kind of softer conditions on your greens, and we've been able to find ways to mitigate that and have some firm and fast greens to complement the rough height. We've never really had wind consistently through the tournament. I would really love to have a year where we're dry, firm, fast, and we have a little bit of help from Mother Nature. I think, a single digit under par score for the week would be a really cool thing to do. And we've been close, but I mean, these golfers are so good. All it takes is one. I think Sam Ryder, for example, he was with the pack that whole tournament. And I'm going to be wrong on this. It was either the final round of his final day or the back nine of his round 3. And he just, I think shot 6 or 7 or something under. Like, what are you going to do? If these guys get hot, and it almost doesn't matter.
So you've been really like in sports, there's a ton of turnover. People go to other organizations, other jobs, all that. You've had a core group of people together, like you, Jess, like Katie, Bill, like a lot of them, like you guys have been together for a really long time. Yeah. How do you think that helps the tournament, to run the way that fans expect?
I mean, it's like anything, right? If it's a sports team or a workforce or a work team, I mean, consistency matters. It allows you to refine processes and systems, and you're not constantly reinventing the wheel. Everyone knows what to expect. Teams operate. I judge a team on how it operates when things are stressful, right, and things aren't going well. When you have people you've worked with over and over and over again for years and years and years, it lends itself to helping out. And last year's a great example. We had the storm blow through on Friday, Saturday. I can't remember what night it was. Had that happened year 1 or 2, even when, we were all fairly green, I think it would have been a mess. But everyone understood almost reflexively what needed to be done. I mean, there was actually, in general, probably very little communication that took place last year during that cleanup, because everybody just kind of understood, your team included, right? Everyone knew what they needed to do, and everyone knew how to prioritize. And, all of a sudden now the place is cleaned up and looks great. So, expectations, it's another part of it. You get people who have done it year over year over year. You don't have to re-explain the expectations. Everybody understands. Everyone on all of these teams is pretty driven too, so that expectation just rises every year, and that just happens naturally when you've worked together forever. So, and the tournament, like, it's kind of it works two ways, right? Like, that consistency helps us pull off a really fun event. Being able to pull off a really fun event helps retain really good people. It's fun to be a part of this event. It's an opportunity that gives us an opportunity to use it as a recruiting tool and a retainment tool. Like, people want to be part of it. So it's kind of I don't know, but it feeds itself a little bit.
One thing we really noticed last year was like your team camaraderie. They seem to know each other. They know what each other's thinking. They know what snacks each other's likes. I mean, we dropped off, I think, a crate of Nutty Buddies. How do you build a culture like that where it's like, hey, we worked all day. It's been hot. It's sweaty. Like, we had adversity, but we're still able to come back here, eat some barbecue together, have some laughs. Like, what does that take to build a culture like that?
Again, I'm going to reference sports all the time. As I think it's all a workplace and a sports team are all similar. I think it comes down to genuinely caring about people, right? You always hear there's always these cliche like leadership lessons, like ask your teammate how their day was, ask your teammate about their family, and all that's great. But if you don't mean it, people see through that. So I think we push that with our culture down there. We're going to be with each other as much or more than we're with our families. So caring for each other, genuinely, that doesn't mean you have to like each other either, right? I mean, there are people on our crew that probably would never hang out together and maybe don't particularly like that other person, but they understand that we're trying to do something special and it takes everybody. And so they care about each other, at least in the sense that they're a teammate. So I think it comes down to that. And that sounds kind of cliche and maybe hokey or gimmicky, but you got to care about the people you're with. And I think that's it. Care about them. When you talk to them and you ask them those questions, like genuinely listen and understand where they're coming from and what drives them, what motivates them. And, it's kind of, it's a family first type of a mentality.
Yeah. And the course is a reflection of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they care about each other. They care about the course.
Yep.
Care about doing a good job. I always like to ask folks that have been around the Pinnacle Bank Championship quite a bit, like, tell me your favorite hole on the course.
Oh man. From a tournament standpoint, I like to watch tournament hole 8. That's 8 Blackbird. And they're on the furthest back tee, and at least 2 out of the 4 days, they're going to tuck that pin way back right. It is a pin that is inaccessible for anybody but these tour players. It is, and usually if we do have wind, which, I mentioned we don't have a lot of it, but when we do, it's typically a crosswind, left to right. And so it's really fun to watch those players step up there and look at that pin that I would look at as like, there's no way, man, I'm not even going to try it. And they fire at it. Nothing scares them. And when they miss, they miss. It's a pretty penalizing miss to the right. So I really like when that pin is back right and that tee is as far back as they can set them. I like to sit there on that green. So from a tournament standpoint, that one. From a playing standpoint, I like tournament hole 11, which is 2 gray. It's a par 5. It's pretty short even for amateurs. But yeah, I'd say those 2.
So we have like we're growing.
Mm-hmm.
Every year. It seems like there's more people that are getting into the sport, experiencing it as a fan, picking up clubs. If you were going to talk to somebody first time going to the Pinnacle Bank Championship, how would you explain this? And for somebody who doesn't watch golf, how do you sell them on why this is a really cool thing to attend?
Man, I think that honestly is the answer to that question is what's going to determine the growth over the next few years, right? I mean, we can sell the golf sells easy. You're going to come out and you're going to watch the next best thing. I mean, Scottie Scheffler has been on our property twice, I believe, and Sung Jae Im has played, and I mean, there's a list, right? I mean, every week you look at the top 20 on whatever PGA Tour tournament's being played or whatever major, and you've got 4 or 5 or more players that have played through here. So that piece is easy. It's appealing to the non-golfer. That is, I think, I'm not going to say it's challenging, but it's an important thing that we need to prioritize. And when we sat down to host this event, the conversation was we really wanted to lean into golf, right? And I think it was halfway through the 10 years or even maybe a little bit after that, we realized we have to get the community involved. That's where partners like you guys come in, right? I mean, if we can create a community experience where people can have fun, and maybe watch a little bit of golf as a byproduct of being out there, then it's like maybe the gateway drug into watching more and more golf. The concert series has been great. The 17th hole has been great. I think getting youth out there would be great, or has been great, and can continue to be great with the RSM putting challenge and the youth clinics. The new practice facility at Indian Creek is kind of, we're opening bits and pieces of it here as it's ready to go, but that has been built in a way, in some ways intentionally, in some ways it kind of, the space defaulted into it, is a really great opportunity to view now. We have some patios areas up there, and we have kind of an elevated view over the putting and chipping greens. If you don't understand golf, or even if you do, sit up there on the practice facility and watch these players hit. I think that's where you get your best representation of how good they are, because you can watch them hit shot after shot, right? And watch just how consistently that ball flies. When you're watching it out on the course, you see one shot with this club and one shot with another club. Sit on the range and watch a dude hit a 5-iron for 25 straight shots, and it's going to land in the same dang spot every single time and have the same trajectory and the same sound. Watch a guy on the putting green hit 20 10-foot putts in a row, boom, 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 right? I think so that's, it's, if you're interested in getting a feel for it, that's the place to probably sit.
Give me a moment over the last 10 years that you're like, this gave me chills. I didn't think we'd maybe see this in Omaha. Like, give me a moment from a player that really stuck with you over these last 10 years.
Probably two. One last year, the finish last year was incredible, right? I mean, you can't draw up a better finish. It's absolutely, if we have this event for another 20 or 30 years, you might have one or two of those situations. So that was extremely special. It was cool because I got national attention as well. That's really cool. Personally, seeing Scottie Scheffler take off has been neat, to say that he played here twice and missed the cut once and maybe missed the cut twice. I can't remember. And one of the years he showed up didn't have a caddy, so one of the cart kids at Indian Creek caddied for him. So this kid was sitting there working a shift, and he got yanked to caddy for this guy that no one really knew about. Next thing you know, he caddied for Scottie. That's a cool deal. And then I want to say it was our second year, I believe. And I'm not even going to remember the name of the player anymore, but he posted a message on one of the social media sites that, he had played in that year's U.S. Open and now was playing at Indian Creek, and the setup was, I think this is as difficult as a U.S. Open, and really it's a competition for us, right? It's our golf course against those players. And so to hear that was really cool. So I'll always remember that. I can't remember the guy's name anymore. I probably have the post saved somewhere. But those three things are pretty unique. And there's a million little stories too, a million little things you see. My niece is one. So my brother-in-law has been a caddy forever. And he started caddying for Cody Blick years ago. Now Cody Blick and my niece are getting married. So like, they met through that, so like there's a family element to this too. My niece's to-be husband, she met because my brother-in-law caddied for him, and now they're getting married.
It's a very Nebraska story.
Super Nebraska story. It's cool. Yeah.
You mentioned the facelift out at Indian Creek. Fans that have been out there the last 9 years, they're going to be walking into a totally new experience at Indian Creek. Talk about the improvements and upgrades you guys have done out there.
Yeah. For those that have been on property before and walk in, it'll be a complete transformation. The building is flipped. The pro shop's now in the southwest corner, and the event space is in the northeast side of the building. Snack bar's kind of shrunk up and is really more of a transactional, cool little, almost concession stand type of a concept. And we have upstairs, we have the restaurant, which is called Approach. That has just opened recently. And then in the basement, we have the lounge called the Sand Room, which is a nod to what the space used to be called. It was this big, open, empty, unfinished basement with a sand floor. It was like the junk drawer for the building. So anyone who has worked there, has at some point been told, hey, go grab this out of the sand room, go put this in the sand room. And they're like, why would we call it anything else? So we've got that lounge in the basement, which, it's like an elevated sports lounge. I don't know what you want. We're kind of hoping it fits in this niche that maybe doesn't really exist out there, right? Plenty of TVs. You can watch any game you want, but you don't feel like you're smack in the middle of a sports bar. We're crafted cocktails. You can get a bucket of Busch Light. You can get a really cool crafted cocktail. We serve lunch upstairs and downstairs in both Approach and Sand Room. Same menu during the day, and then Approach closes early afternoon, and then we flip that for dinner, and you're getting a little more elevated upstairs for dinner. It's cool. It's a great space. The practice facility's been renovated, as I mentioned. Huge putting green, huge chipping green. I think our old chipping green was 3,000 square feet. The new one's 13,000 square feet. We've increased the chipping fairway, by 4 or 5 times. Created a cool little patio. I have a gazebo going up there. Honestly, like if you got dropped on property and didn't know any better, you'd feel like you're at a country club, and that was the goal, to provide a country club experience for a daily fee golfer, stay accessible. If you got dropped in the restaurant or the lounge, particularly, you also wouldn't feel like you're on a golf course either. We were intentional about trying to create spaces that even a non-golfer would want to be at. Like Pinnacle Bank, we're trying to get non-golfers out there. Indian Creek's kind of doing the same thing. How do we create a food and dining experience that is able to stand alone on its own merit? Having the golfers creates a nice captive audience that we can use to get our feet under us. But our intention there is to have a restaurant and lounge that operate successfully independently of that. It's nerve-wracking. You guys have been in the restaurant. I mean, man, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I've grown grass for 18 years, and I've done this for 2. I have 0 experience in the food and beverage industry. So I've gone out and hired really good people, but man, it's nerve-wracking.
There's no shortcuts.
Oh my goodness, man. And you can have 20 people that say everything was great, and you have that one person that didn't have, and it's just like that one is in the back of your head the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's subjective, dude. Right?
Yeah.
Like food is subjective. And, the one thing we're going to be consistent, and we provide really good, thoughtful food, right? It's from scratch, and we can provide a really solid experience, but, boy, it's nerve-wracking.
Well, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And you impressed, the 2 hardest food critics in town, and that's Robbie Lula and Kenny Bell.
Okay.
They came back with glowing reviews.
Good.
So if you can impress them, you can impress anybody.
And that was early, so we were still learning. So hopefully it's only gotten better.
So, all right. Last question for you, Jim. It's our 10th year. What are you personally most excited about for this year?
I'm excited for good weather. We're going to have it, right? I mean, last year was awful. So I feel like, the gods owe us something. So I'm excited for good weather. And I'm excited to figure out how we can take what we've done with the facility and complement the tournament. I think that, this being year 1 of having everything within the building and the practice facility accessible to us, I think we're going to learn. I think next year, year 11 is probably where we really have figured out how all of that's going to work to enhance the experience. But I do believe this year we have some really good and cool ideas for that, to create more of a community environment, to appeal to people that maybe aren't interested in golf. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. And honestly, and I'm not just saying this because I'm sitting here, but the growth on that 17th hole is something I'm always looking forward to. It has gotten better every single year. And it adds such a level of energy, and it creates such a vibe. I think if there's one piece that we need to sell to those non-golfers, it's that, come out here, and it's a party, and it's not a party in everyone's just sloppy, and it's a good, wholesome, fun, energetic environment. My kids come out every year, and I have had no issue bringing my kids down there. It's a spot where a 9-year-old kid can sit and have a wonderful experience, and a college kid can come out and have a wonderful experience by their standards, and an 80-year-old can come out and have a wonderful time by their standards. Someone who loves golf can have a wonderful time. Someone who doesn't watch a single shot is just there to socialize and have fun. And so I think the more we can grow that space, and the more we can take that energy and spread that to areas on the golf course, I think that's what's going to determine how high the ceiling can go. So I'm excited for hole 17.
Same. And we couldn't be more thankful to you guys for letting us throw some ideas at you guys and being open and willing. It's one of our favorite weeks of the year because we get to hang out on 17.
Yeah.
Like we're doing the cha-cha slide like while there's golf happening, and like everybody's having a really good time.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's really cool, and I can't wait to see it. So Jim, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you guys.
Can't wait. We're coming up on 10th year of the Pinnacle Bank Championship. For tickets, sponsorship opportunities, volunteers, all go to the pinnaclebankchampionship.com. You can find whatever information you want there, and we'll see you next time on the podcast.